are back. We are the LeGals. I know it has been a minute, but we are great. We are excited to be here. We have some exciting new content for you. And first, let me do this. Let me introduce us because it's been a minute. I am Luby Myrtle, and we have Tanya O'Connor, Jamila Little, Lisa M. Knox, and Alana Greenway Faniel. And Tanya is going to introduce our wonderful guest that I'm excited to talk to.
Dr. Archie is a board-certified family nurse practitioner with over 19 years of clinical experience. We're going to get a little bit more into her background, but I'm happy to say she is a graduate of USF. She earned both her undergraduate, master's, and doctoral degree from USF. So that's very exciting to know that USF is churning out some really qualified professionals. And she has a practice here in Brandon. She has a med spa, and we're featuring her this month for two reasons. Well, first of all, she's a minority business owner. And secondly, she's a So thank you so much for joining us today. I have to tell you, I first became acquainted with you and your services because you showed up in my Facebook feed. So I'm like, I am my guest. About a med spa and injectables and all this good stuff. Am I like needing help? Anyway, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's definitely a pleasure. And, you know, the whole week I was so excited and anxious about coming on just to meet everyone. And it's truly an honor to just be a part of this group.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we have a lot of questions, and I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to take the lead.
Absolutely.
So all of us are up on TikTok, and we all, see those reels or those videos that say, I am an attorney, I'm a nurse practitioner, and here are 5 things that I wouldn't do. Give us your quick answer to 5 things that you wouldn't do as a nurse practitioner, practicing in your field.
5 things that I would not do as it relates to the profession itself is pretend to be someone that I'm not, sell false information. Although TikTok puts out little snippets, you can't get the majority of everything, but I'm not going to put out anything that's not valuable or untrue. And I would not use any type of scrubs on my skin. I don't know if that's something you know, but the other thing that I would say is, oh, you're putting me on the spot. Neglect patient safety. That's a big thing for me. Or misinform the patient. I think those are some big things for me.
Okay. And I just have one follow-up before I give the floor to my other LeGals. I scrub my face all the time. Why wouldn't you scrub your face? I thought that's what exfoliation.
Apricot scrubs are a big no-no.
No, not apricot. I don't use apricot.
Okay, as long as it's not apricot and it's some sort of a micro bead, a gel, that's perfect. Because when you use something that's too coarse on the face, you're actually causing more trauma and causing the pores to become enlarged.
Oh, okay.
Can I just say that your skin, Dr. Archie, looks wonderful and it's glowing, and I want to be just like you.
When I grow up.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. But if you've been following me, I do talk about the adult acne that I face on a daily basis. So this comes with a whole routine and regimen that I do every night. So thank you for that, though.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
And just I'm sorry, Alana, were you going to ask something?
No, go ahead, Jamila.
No, she just said my word, regimen. I'm like, okay, what is the regimen that we need to be doing on a daily basis? I don't want to oust anybody here, but we are like 30s
and mature. We'll say that. So it's my tried and true 3 and 3. Everything else is icing on the cake. So in the morning, it's 3 things. A gentle foaming cleanser. So the barb soaps, the black soaps, I know we talk about it a lot, but it is a no-no. That dries out the skin terribly.
Okay.
So a gentle foaming cleanser followed by some sort of a vitamin C serum, because vitamin C will brighten the skin and help with any darkness that just give your skin a glow, followed by an SPF. It has taken me a while to really convince a lot of melanated skin to adhere to the SPF policy that I go by. And just because we don't crack, we do shrivel. The sun being in Florida, you have to protect your skin, and wearing an SPF greater than 45 is definitely recommended. So that's 3 in the morning. Then in the evening, gentle cleanser again, and then some sort of a retinoid. Retinoid helps with cell turnover, so it helps to exfoliate the skin without actually doing a chemical peel, and then some sort of a hydrating moisturizer. So those are the foundational elements of skincare, no matter what else you think you want to add, whether it's an eye cream or something to even out the tone. At least have those 3 things in the morning, 3 things at night as your standard foundation. So definitely can't be without that.
So Dr. Archie, you wouldn't put a moisturizer on in the morning. You would just do the SPF and the, what was the other thing? The SPF.
The serum?
Yeah, the
So
serum. Yeah.
You
and not a
can. I
moisturizer.
mean, a lot of times people have either oily or combination skin. I mean, combination skin is one of the most common. You can add a moisturizer, but between adding the serum and then your SPF, most people don't. But if you're going to be wearing makeup, you can add it as a part of your primer. Or if you would like, you can even add a hyaluronic acid serum. There's so many things that can be added on top of it, but as far as the basic premise, those would be the 3 things I'd say, because sometimes people, they don't want to do a lot of things, but if nothing else, those 3, but you can always sandwich other topicals in between.
Well, then, Dr. Archie, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so SPF. It's very important. I don't know if my other LeGals sisters have had this issue, but when I put on an SPF, I look like the Walking Dead. I look ashy. How do we, where is the SPF that is not going to turn me
For the
to
melanated,
Yes.
where are those SPFs?
Right.
Boy, I'm going to have to create one on my own because it is a challenge. So not all SPFs are created equally. There are actually 2 different kinds. There's a chemical base and a mineralized base. And a lot of times when we get that chalky white hue, it's because we're using a mineral-based SPF. Granted, the mineral base is the best for your skin because when you are exposed to those UVB and UVA rays with a chemical sunscreen, sometimes you can actually burn easier with that, even though the premise is to protect your skin. However, the mineralized leaves you with that chalky hue. There is a brand that I do use here from a company called Skin Better. They have over a decade of science behind them, and it is a mineralized sunscreen, but you just need a tiny pump. The goal is to really warm it up in your hand before you apply it, and then you go ahead and add it and massage it into the skin, because if you put a ton and just try to add it on there, you're going to look really chalky and ashy.
So now you've said the kind that you use in your shop, but what happens if, let's say I'm in Wisconsin or somewhere and I don't know if Wisconsin's gonna need as much,
sunscreen.
But let's say I'm in Arizona and who am I using? I'm in Target, I'm in Walmart,
Sure.
I'm in Walgreens. Where am I going? Who am I using?
Black Girl Sunscreen, thebomb.com. CeraVe Ultra Moisturizing Sunscreen, thebomb.com. Won't have you looking chalky in any way. It's something that you can purchase at Target, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS. Those are some really over-the-counter good brands that I even use myself.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
So
But can we
I'm
order
looking
your
for-
brand?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely online.
So we'll make sure that we put your information at the end of the live so that everybody can get to it. We were all looking at your website, and your services are just, oh my gosh, right? So
Yeah.
there are a lot, and we stumbled upon the health and wellness and also the sexual health. And
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not sure where I want to go. Something should be like consultation. But let's talk about this health and wellness. And I see the slim, what is this? Slim and trim. Okay. So I've had 4 babies.
Ooh.
And there is I would stand up and show you there's this section here that just won't let me be great. So I just, I see some of the parts here where you get like an injection or something. It's like fat burner, is a lipotropic. So I guess at the end of the day, is this the alternative to plastic surgery if you're not as motivated as I am? Or I guess not as motivated as some people to exercise to get rid of these stubborn fats around this midsection. Like, what are we talking about? Like, where are we? Let's be real about what's happening here.
So the takeaway here is going to be realistic expectations. So if someone is truly a candidate for surgery, no matter what you employ or do, it's not going to remove that need for surgery. And of course, not everyone is a candidate for surgery for medical reasons, personal reasons. So there are alternatives, but a lot of time combination therapy always works best. For some of the things that I offer for weight loss, maybe the one that you're referring to is the mesotherapy. It's a lipotropic fat injection that really targets specific areas of concern. Now, not everyone is a candidate for that. If you have more than, I'd say, 2 to 3 inches of fat that is pinchable, then you would be looking for more overall weight loss. But it is something that I commonly employ under the submental area. So once you inject it into the area, it actually lyses the fat. So the fat cells clump together. And then in your lymphatics, it breaks it down, it gets absorbed, and then you excrete the fat cells out. And once you excrete them, they never come back. However, the little trick is if you do gain weight, it may not come back here, but it'll find somewhere else to go. So that's that is with the mesotherapy injections. Now, as far as overall weight loss, there are 2 different tiers. There's one called the MIC injection that is also offered with a spray. It has 5 different ingredients in it: methionine, inositol, and choline. Those 3 ingredients help your body to break down the fats that you have stored, the carbohydrates and fatty foods that you ingest, and it gets broken down, detoxified in the liver, excreted in the urine and stool. And then the fabulous component added to it is B12 and B6. Who couldn't use a little energy? B12 helps with energy, focus, red blood cell formation, but it is not an appetite suppressant. So it will rev up the metabolism and you can lose 1 to 2 pounds per week in conjunction to exercise, lifestyle modification, but it will not suppress the appetite. The higher tier, the higher tier is that semaglutide, the buzzword that's out there. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ozempic, but it is a GLP-1 inhibitor. So a glucagon-like peptide, not an insulin medication. But the thing I love about it is you inject once a week and you forget about it. It does decrease your appetite, and that would help with overall weight loss until we get you to the part where we can kind of just do a little mesotherapy and burn off some areas that you want injected.
Okay.
I have a question. I'm seeing a lot of people, I'm seeing 2 things that's hot on like social media right now. So the first thing is the whole, everyone doing a, where they can do the weight loss, spa thing and all. So it's like, people who turned around and the day before they were a receptionist, now they're turning around and they're like, yeah, come to me and I can go ahead and help you shrink your waistline and so forth. I want to know your opinion on that. And then I also want to know your opinion on the glass challenge. Have you heard of the glass challenge?
I don't know.
What's the glass
challenge? You're gonna have to embellish on that a little bit.
Give us
okay, so let me tell y'all about the glass challenge. So you all know, okay, so social media is the place to go and find people doing stupid things with their time. Okay. Now, the dumb thing, I don't know if it's dumb. That's what I'm trying to ask Dr. Archie. But they're doing this thing with the whole routine so that their skin is just so shiny and perfect that it looks like glass. Like you can see another person's reflection off of it. Am I the only person who stays up in the middle of the night watching?
Do they achieve
What are they
reflection?
using?
I don't know what that
Yeah.
is. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay. You talk to me, Dr. Archie, about the receptionist now makeup debonair, and I'm going to find something about that glass challenge, okay?
What do
Okay.
they do? What do they do to make their skin look like glass, Lisa?
It's just they do like they have the peel that they use or the hyaluronic acid. I get so concerned.
Okay, it's a 10-step skincare process is what it is.
Right. And so that your
Gotcha.
skin can look like glass and just look so, it's sort of like Madonna's. Have y'all seen Madonna's new
Mm.
Her
like that.
recent
Wait,
pictures
wait,
weren't
wait.
so nice, so I'm not sure about that.
That doesn't look good.
Hold on, Madge. If you're watching us, if you happen to be watching us, Madge, my name is Lisa Knox, and I did not say anything about you.
Okay, anywho, moving
Okay, go
on.
ahead.
Well, with the glass challenge, the biggest thing is people think that anything that you do, it's like happening tomorrow. With skincare, healthcare, anything, it's a marathon and not necessarily a sprint, and results don't happen overnight. So a lot of times, things are sensationalized when they're posted, but you don't realize what that process consisted of behind the scenes. Like, for example, someone's skin, they come in for a chemical peel. One peel alone is not going to eradicate the underlying acne scarring and melasma that you may have that has built up for decades. So, they might put a before and after, but it may have taken 3 treatments in between that. So with that glass challenge, could it work? Absolutely. Glass skin challenge. It could work, but it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's a process when you're using different things to treat your skin. So I wouldn't doubt it. It's just not going to be an overnight thing. Okay. Now, for your other question, as it relates to people popping up all over the place, I never knock someone for trying to do things, but I always want to stay within your lane, stay within your profession, stay within the boundaries that you are trained within. Everyone wants to do everything and do all these things, but there's qualifications that come with that. There's standards that come with that. And it's always about protecting the people that you're caring for and providing the most appropriate evidence-based treatment. So sometimes, people put things on there. A lot of times things aren't, as managed and monitored in our community as far as healthcare is concerned. So it can be a little bit disappointed, discouraging, and dangerous. So people really need to do their research before jumping out and just going to anyone.
Yeah, consumer beware. Let me ask you this, Dr. Archie. I've heard pros and cons about laser therapy for women of color, that it can result in more scarring and damage than it can help. Is that been your experience, or is that your opinion?
So it depends on the kind of laser that's being provided. So here I provide laser hair removal services, and the machine that I do use is safe for all skin types. However, it's based on the person that is firing that laser. If they aren't knowledgeable enough about the Fitzpatrick scale, like someone may come in here and they may, be an African American and they may be very fair skinned, but if you don't know what their cultural background is, that could play a role in the decision that you make as far as a protocol is concerned. You can't necessarily look at someone and treat them for face value. A lot more goes into that, their medical history, ethnic background, and that helps to determine what laser protocol you use to treat their skin. So if you're not knowledgeable in that aspect and you choose an incorrect setting, or you're trying to go from 0 to 100 without familiarizing yourself with the patient and how they're going to be able to tolerate their first treatment, yes, you can definitely have an adverse reaction. So it's all based on the provider that's providing the care, how knowledgeable they are with the machinery, and the patient that they're treating. So whenever I see a client or a patient, I do a thorough medical history. Even though it is a spa, the big preface here, it is a medical spa. So you're providing medicine before a spa service that consists of assessing, diagnosing, implementing a treatment plan and a protocol.
Okay,
Wow.
thank you.
I had one question, one more question. What is there an age, or at what age would you suggest? And I think we all have to maintain, right, our skin and our cells and our bodies. But at what age would you suggest someone starting to look at like dermal fillers and that kind of stuff? I feel like we all do this. Well, I've done that. You haven't yet one day. So at what age do you think it's appropriate to start? Because I think maybe 20s, 30s, maybe too young. I don't know.
So, before I was in this industry, I'm Caribbean, I'm Jamaican. So like, you're trying to do all this stuff. But when I started, my husband's like, oh, you're not putting that in your face. I'm never doing this. I'm never doing that.
Right.
But prevention is better than cure. A lot of times I do treat millennials, people in their 20s, but you're not going to be providing like a neuromodulator or Botox treatment the same dosage that you would for a 20-year-old and a 50-year-old. It's more preventative. So I would say starting earlier than later is better, because I do get patients that come in, and by the time they come in, there's so many things going on, and then they're overwhelmed with the plan that I come up with, because it's like, okay, we've got to attack this volume loss. We've got to attack the fine lines and wrinkles, the textural changes because of maturity, hormonal imbalances. So I say earlier than later. In the 20s sounds very young, but I feel like that's an appropriate age to start, whether it's with your skincare regimen, hydrofacials. It doesn't have to necessarily be with toxins or derma fillers. Personally, I don't inject any filler in anyone's face unless they're over the age of 21. And it depends on what we're treating. I'm not going to just be putting it in there to put it in there. It has to make sense. I'm more of treating more holistically and naturally, because the goal is to rejuvenate yourself. You're not trying to look like a different person, but just a better version of yourself. And doing things too quickly in too much quantity can cause issues down the line. So subtle, but starting young preventatively.
That's an interesting thing you said, because growing up, I would see people who are older start to do more skincare things, like really worrying about their wrinkles and such of that nature. So it's interesting to hear you say the earlier you start, it sounds like, better skincare treatments or regimens, then they can come to you and do more preventative regimens, as opposed to, okay, now you have the wrinkles, now you have this, that, and the third, now we got to cure it. So maybe
Correct.
It's easier for you to treat better when you're starting. I would have never thought that. So that's interesting.
Absolutely. And
That's
it's
a good
all about
segue
educating the patients, for sure, so that they can be empowered to take their hands, do things at home to help with the regimen that you've provided them in the office.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That was a good segue into my question, which was, if you have someone like myself who really doesn't know kind of what exactly they would need, how would they go about kind of booking, or what is that kind of intake process for you? You provide consultations where you can, kind of examine them and talk to them about some of their, skincare goals, and then create a plan for them and provide those services?
Absolutely. I feel like the majority of my patients that I see, we always start off with a complimentary consultation. And I kind of assess you from head to toe, asking what your concerns may be, and then really kind of talking about some things that I think would be beneficial as well. We formulate a treatment plan, and you have a plan that is good for, I would say, at least a year. Because like I said, it's more of a marathon and not necessarily a sprint, to where, you know, we're going to do this month, and maybe in a couple of months, we're going to do this, just really keeping that skin fresh.
Well,
You're
what's the
absolutely-
difference between yourself and a dermatologist?
So with a dermatologist, it's different because I have gone to medical school in the nursing aspect. So with a dermatologist, they are more specialized for skin things. So they may do surgical biopsies or surgical procedures where I do not.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm
So
still
that-
able to prescribe, diagnose, treat, all of those things. They're specialized in skin.
Okay.
Dr. Archie, one last question of the day. What made you want to go out on your own and start your med spa?
Well, you know what? My baby is now 21, joined the army, and
Oh my
he's out of the
God.
house. So I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur, to be honest with you. When I was in college, I developed my own lip plumping lip balm and never did anything with it because I was
Oh,
too
wow.
scared. Growing up, I used to always write these business plans in high school about what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go, all these things, and never actualized anything. So, you know, with my son graduating and doing his thing, I'm like, you know what? It's my time now. I'm going to just do it. I'm going to work, save money, and, you know, start my own practice. And it has been phenomenal, but it is very challenging. I think it's
Oh,
one
absolutely.
of the most challenging things I've ever done. I eat, sleep, dream, wake up. It's a 24/7 job. I think this is the hardest I've worked in my life.
Trust me,
You
we
know what?
understand.
You're not
There's
alone.
your
Every
company.
one of
Yeah.
us are self-employed,
Oh boy.
and so we can
Wow.
completely. But it's so sweet knowing that all of that hard work is just for you and you alone.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
for your family.
True.
So, you know,
That's
it makes
true.
it easier to do it, to put in the long hours. And I commend you for taking up that challenge and to following your
Thank
dream.
you.
And it's also a good testament to, even though if you have a dream and you've had it when you were younger, and you know, you don't want to say, oh, it's too late. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the age. As long as that dream keeps on nagging at you, and then you eventually say, you know, just like you did, my son is out of the house, and now it's my time. And so you pick up that dream, and you can still be successful. Age is not really a determining factor of how successful you are at succeeding your dream. So that is beautiful. And I also commend you.
Yeah.
Oh, you are so amazing. I love you guys. You guys are so amazing. Ladies of power, LeGals.
Yeah.
Dr. Archie, can you tell our viewers, how can they contact you? How can they book a consultation?
Yes.
What's the best way to go about doing that?
Sure. There's actually a few ways. You can visit us at www.fraichemedspa.com, or you can call 813-330-0266 to schedule a complimentary consultation, or you can book it online. You can DM us on Facebook at Fraiche Medspa or at Dr. Nicola Archie. So we're both on Instagram and also Facebook.
And can you spell fresh for everyone? Because that's sort of a French way to
Absolutely.
spell it.
Absolutely. It's fresh spelled in French. So it's Fraiche. Put a little spin on it.
Nice. Nice. Well, we are so glad that you were able to join us today. I think perhaps in an upcoming episode, we'll have to actually visit your spa. We had hoped video.
You have
Yes.
rejuvenation parties. I saw that on
Yes.
here.
Yes, I do.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that needs to be the next LeGals retreat.
Yes. We're going to rejuvenate all of us.
I'm
That's
gonna need
right.
somebody to hold my hand because I don't handle pain well. So
Don't worry, I have all the toys and tools, laughing gas, numbing medication, you name it, we've got it.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
all about it. So let's do this. Let's get our giggle on.
Okay. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's definitely a pleasure. I enjoyed my time.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and for our viewers, thank you guys for joining us.